Women in poverty, I can control them better.
I'ma tell you something, I wish it wasn't true. Many people on this earth, they wanna prey on you. And the reason why is cause they know you broke. And if you leave them, they gon' ask you where you finna go. Debo is control, might come with some disrespect. Baby is control, please don't feel attacked. Baby is control, please run up that bag. They telling on themselves, he telling y'all the facts.
A girl who can't afford to say, fuck you, Corey, I'm gone. She just can't afford to do it. So I take advantage of that. Now, that might be wrong, but her poverty and my needs, most of the time, it even out. I don't really need a lot of their time. And they don't tell me to off because they know when I come over, they children can get some
Hold up, God.
some outlet Jordans.
Outlet Gucci.
Yeah.
So what I got from that is, hey, I got the resources, you need me. You're not ever going to turn me away if I do some dumb stuff. Okay.
How you speak of women, right? Where you want control. Is there
I
ever...
don't want control that is taken by force. I want control because I'm the one who is the leader of the pack, naturally.
But this control comes with having financial gain over the other person.
So could you see yourself in a situation where a woman makes as much as you or more than you?
I like women who make money, just I can't do nothing with you other than sleep with you. If you could take care of yourself, you're gonna think you could talk to me. I don't like you talking to me a lot. I know you got your own money and all like that, so if you want to, we can hook up, hang out, do that for a minute, but I'm saying.
I feel like he's saying women with money just not going to take anything because they don't have to, and they're going to be able to say their piece.
Girls in poverty, because they have a deficiency. Poverty is a deficiency out here in America. I can fix your little deficiency if you do what I want you to do. I think it's an even exchange.
Yeah, but do you see how that comes off as...
Predatory?
No. How does it come off? It's this, look, we're exchanging services.
Okay, but that's not prostitution?
It's all prostitution. What's not prostitution? The only woman who not prostituting, not a woman that's married to their husband.
Whoa.
Everything else, you a...
Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, wow, that was messed up, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I'm glad that he said that out loud. And a lot of people are like, how dare him say something like that? But my whole thing is, would y'all rather people get on here and act like everybody has good intentions? Because we know that they don't. I was happy that he said this out loud. And for the women who just think that these sort of men don't exist, here's the proof. Here's all that you needed to know. If you've never known that there are people who are very transactional in the world, and if you're not able to be a person that they can just get something from or to take from, and then they're able to dangle like something over you to have control, I don't know how you ain't never ran into him, but there are people like that in the world, and he's just one of these people. And don't get me wrong, I understand being shocked behind what he said because it's like, wow, you really think like that? You really feel like that? A lot of people don't understand that there are people walking around the earth like this that are operating in this capacity and think exactly like how he thinks. And videos like this just show you that there are people that are preying on the fact that you don't have any money, that you may be living in poverty and that you're broke. And I'm not saying I agree with what he said at all because I don't agree. I just think that we have to understand that we are not all the same, and there are people who will take advantage. One thing I don't think anybody's going to argue is the fact that money does, in a lot of relationships, marriages, and things of that sort, play a big role. And that's why I thought this whole conversation was very interesting to have. Now, as far as going to get women in poverty, I think we see a lot of people do exactly this. They'll date somebody that they know doesn't have money because to them, that lifts them up. And they're able to be looked at kind of like as a savior, like Captain Save 'em. I don't know. I've even seen people go as far as to go to other countries and marry a woman who came from an area that had less than, people that have in the States. And they're able to say, hey, the US dollar is pretty strong. I got money, and compared to where you're from, you don't really got it like that. So it looks like, hey, like I got a savior coming to save me. And I think a lot of men like to feel like, oh, I'm saving somebody, and they're appreciative because they can't do that with women that have their own money. It just don't hit the same. It don't. But to be honest, whether we see it on TV or we're just talking about what he said in this interview, we have more than likely seen a man do exactly what he's doing. Like, look at 90 Day Fiance. Now, I've seen conversations online about rich people being preyed on, and like everybody wants a rich man, everybody wants this person because they're rich. I never thought that I would hear somebody out loud be like, yeah, I'm preying on the poor people because they don't have these things and they're gonna need me. Like, that's crazy.
Ladies, if you needed any more of a reason to go get your own education, go listen to Corey Holcomb talk to Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I want you to go listen to that clip and come back here. Your education is your voice. Your money is your voice. Those are your opportunities to create not only a better life, but to have say-so in the way your life goes. I'm talking to my nieces now because I know y'all watching.
Yeah.
Your education, your money is your voice, your power.
She's right.
Society would like you to believe that your power is your vagina.
Right.
It is, but it isn't. It's in combination with your brain.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
it.
your ability to maneuver in this world as an educated woman. You are going to run into people who want to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Simply because they think you are not educated. They are going to want to date you. They're going to want to marry you. And they're going to want to break you down simply because they think that they have more than you and that they can always remain high over somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. I think she's absolutely right. And I think that this conversation goes both ways. I think men and women should be able to do things independently without having to depend on somebody else. Like having an education, things that you can fall back on, because people are stuck because they don't have financial independence and they don't have a way to make money. And you don't hear it, and you don't think it's a big deal till it's a big deal. And then you hear all about it. Yeah, that's why it's scary.
I can't believe like the reaction to the Corey Holcomb interview on Cam Newton's podcast. Not because I agree with anything he was saying, but because I thought that everything he said was common sense. But I don't always agree with everything he says, especially when it comes to this, because I don't believe in the whole provider man concept. And now I'm starting to believe that the father's been out here lying to their daughters because either they don't have a father or their dad literally lied to them and told her that he provides for her and the family out of the kindness of his heart. These women really be thinking that men want to provide for women just for it makes us proud to provide for them. Like, dudes provide for women for control purposes. Every man that I know that has told me that he wants to provide for a woman said it was so he could control his woman. I don't know nobody out here wanting to pay for somebody else's lifestyle for a positive reason. I don't believe anybody is providing for anyone with no agenda. But I know there's women out there that will argue with me all day that their husband does it or their dad did it. And it's like, no, they didn't. I don't give a fuck what you say. They didn't do it because they was being nice.
The part that got me was this. Every man that I know has told me he wants to provide or that he wants to provide for a woman was only doing it out of control or whatever he said. That's wild. So there it is, y'all. Like, I'm not about to argue with nobody saying, hey, every man that told me that, they were saying they want control, because I've heard people say stuff like this in real life. And yeah, it was like, dang, you really just want to control your wife? And they be like, yep. And they're dead serious. So I believe them, but I'm like, dang, every man? None of them did it because they just love their wife. It was for control? Wow. I didn't think that was going to be the stats. If there's any men watching, do you provide because you actually love the woman you're with, or do you provide because you want control? Like, be honest. One thing he talked about was like fathers lying, like our fathers lying to their daughters. Look, my dad always kept it really real with me about how men were. I ain't never had this idea that all men were just like great, because my dad, like, I'm gonna say it this way. My dad was a player, and everybody in my family know he was like that. That's just how he was to the day he died. My daddy never wanted me to depend on a man. Now, I don't know how many women are raised like that, like where their own father is like, look, if you let a man control you, he gonna leave you high and dry. You don't never depend on a man for anything. They'll dog you out and you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. I don't know if women are being told that because everybody has like this idea, like, I want to live a soft life, I want to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying like if that's what you want to do, that there's an issue with it. But I've never been under the impression that I should be solely financially dependent on a man, and that's never been like in the cards. It's never been something I even considered, because I was always taught personally how bad that is and what ends up happening to people who do that. And I've seen it for myself. Like, I've seen it in my own family where women were being controlled by money. They could not make a move. When they were being disrespected, they could not go anywhere. And I know a lot of people grew up seeing that sort of dynamic, and when you get older, you're like, hell no. Like, I'm make sure I have my own bankroll, because you ain't finna just do me any type of way. But I think a lot of women may have good examples of fathers where the father is providing 100% and he's taking care of the mom. And what you still have to remember is, even though that your dad may be a fantastic provider for your mom, there are people out here that are preying on people, and they're preying on the fact that you don't have resources. And these sort of situations can be very controlling. Now, if you just think everybody's like your dad out here, if your dad was like a great man, what I'm here to tell you is look at what's going on. Look at the video. I'm not about to sit here and argue that nobody's lying. I believe exactly what they're saying, but what you should do is understand that every man is not the same.
You marry for money, you end up paying the rest of your life because you don't exercise that muscle to do it on your own, to create your own choice, your own freedom, your own power. And whoever makes the gold usually makes the rules and has the power in the relationship. And all of the gifts in the world end up being medication for what you're really not getting, which is probably intellectual or sexual or emotional or humorous stimulation. So you end up lunching as a verb, shopping as a verb. And the older you get, and God forbid if you get divorced, you lose power, you don't have a skill set, you get bored, and you just continue to medicate with stuff and with trying to make other people look at your life as if it's something that they would covet. When in fact, you should work really hard on your own to have your own freedom, your own independence. So then you can marry whoever you want, rich or poor. And you have the choice and you have the freedom, and you're with an equal partner.
And she brings up a great point about, if you have your own money, you can choose whoever you want to marry. You can marry somebody that's rich or poor. You can marry for people that have good character. You can marry for those sort of reasons. But if you're just like thinking money, money, money is the reason why I'm getting married, you might be marrying somebody with horrible morals and horrible character, and they might actually just not even be a good person, but you got to stick around because the money's there. That's scary, y'all.
When you marry or date for money, you will work for every penny. When you are financially dependent on a man, your number one priority can only ever be survival.
Wow.
Now, I am not saying don't date a man with money. I am saying date somebody who you like, who also happens to have money, and also make sure that you are financially able to take care of yourself.
I agree.
Because the reality is, if a man purchases you, if he knows your presence is dependent on his finances, he will never be able to give you the love and respect that you believe you deserve. And everything will be based on his time and based on his mood. Women come on here all day, every day, and see women living the fruits of getting a rich man. Fine, fair, love that for you girls. However, everything that glitters is not gold, no pun intended.
Yeah.
There are a lot of women who have, all the things that you would want from a man with money. However, they are heavily controlled.
Yeah.
They cannot make their own decisions for their life. There are things that they want to do that they are not allowed to do.
It's very true.
Side note, imagine not being allowed to do something as a grown woman. This is not the life that anybody should want for themselves. Because a lot of women think that men giving them money means that man values them in some way.
Yeah.
If a man has money, his life is about spending money. That's what he does on a daily basis. So he has no issue with spending money on a woman he's dating. However, he also understands that when he spends money, he's able to control the situation. Do not become the situation, because you will become controlled. The number one things that you should be expecting a man to contribute to you is his time, is consistency, is respect, is actions meeting words. And then women will come online and say, if a man doesn't spend money on you when you first meet him, he's never going to spend money on you, or you're always going to go 50-50. A relationship is literally like a job where you start and you're on probation. You have 3 to 6 months to see how you work, how they work, whether it works together.
Okay.
However, after that 3 to 6 months of probation, if it works, then you get all the perks. That is exactly how men think and how we should think as women. However, with men, it's for money. With women, it should be for our box. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and have loads of your own money, but be able to take care of yourself. That is a bare minimum, ladies. To pay for where you live, to pay to get around, to, pay for your hair, nails, basics, necessities. And yes, when you get a man that you like and you want to build with and you're happy with, he will then start contributing to these things and you will do these things together. But never, ever, ever in your life be dependent on a man financially.
Yeah.
Never, ever be able to not be able to move when you want to move because you can't afford to. That is such a dangerous place to be.
It's very
dangerous. We don't want to hear it, but we are in 2024. We are just as capable, if not more, at making money.
Yeah.
And again, I am not saying do not get a man with money. There is nothing wrong with having a man with money. I like men with money, but I will never show up without my own money.
Yeah.
I will never leave myself so defenseless.
Yeah.
Now, I understand there's different factors that affect this, like having children, you're not able to work. You have to be financially dependent, of course. But that is why you always have to choose a man that loves you, respects you, cares for you, values your opinion. Because if you don't and you just choose this man based on money, when you are not able to, be in a position to make that money and, make decisions for yourself, he will take that opportunity to control you and put you in a position that you are reliant on him for permission to live your life.
When she was talking about like living the soft life, a lot of women do aspire to live these sort of lives now, but we also do have to remember what she said. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and a lot of the time there is control and sometimes there is not control. Like, we just don't know. But what I'm saying is you gotta your situation is going to be different than whoever you're watching online and whatever life you're trying to aspire to live, because you will be with somebody different. And I get that people want to be pampered. People want to be taken care of by a man. They want a man to take care of them. But you got to remember, all of these men are not going to give the same results because a lot of them don't have the same morals.
I seen a video of, I think his name Big Sexy, but he was talking about men love the idea of a strong woman, but in reality they want a broke. And that is like 180, 200% true, okay? They do not want no independent bossed up ass bitch. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. They want a broke ass bitch. You know why they want a broke ass bitch? Because they want to feel needed. You know what I'm saying? They want to have that power. But if you get a boss ass bitch, you get a female who want her shit, who got some bread. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell her what to do, bro.
No, you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
You can't spoil her shit, spoil her motherfucking self. But then she spoil her motherfucking self, she gonna look at you as less than, because it's like, you should have been able to do this. And that's the thing. A lot of women not gonna admit that shit, but I'm definitely gonna admit that. I'm gonna look at you weird. You know what I'm saying? And everybody like, it's not always about money. You absolutely right. It's not always about money in a fucking relationship. But you need to be with somebody that can match you financially. Okay? I don't want to hear no shit like, oh my God, Nicki Minaj make more than her husband. I understand Nicki Minaj makes more than her husband. At the same time, though, Nicki Minaj's husband still is, has money. Y'all don't be having no fucking money at all. Okay? And when I say certain shit, like if we go out to dinner and the dinner costs $200 fucking dollars, and I say, hey babe, I left my fucking wallet at home, go ahead and grab that, for me. And you ain't got it, I'm gonna look at you fucking weird, because why you ain't got it? I have it. Why you ain't got it? That's how I'm gonna look at you. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. And you damn motherfucking right. I'm gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? You're my son at this point. You're independent. And then here come the man that be like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what's wrong with y'all black women there. Because y'all want something. Shut the fuck up. Whoa! Because every other race of women would expect the same exact fucking thing. They would expect it. They would expect for you to be able to pull your fucking weight. A lot of y'all, bruh, be coming into relationships broke as hell. You can't enter into a relationship with no fucking body and not have no money, bro. That's just what it is. If you enter a relationship with somebody, you need to have some fucking money. I don't want to hear that shit. Okay? Because y'all be like, y'all women be coming to relationships when y'all don't be having no money. Man, you knew that bitch ain't had no money. And you liked it because she ain't had no money, because you could tell her what to do. You could control her more because you had the upper hand. You the man. She gonna look at you like a caretaker, because that's what y'all want. Y'all want somebody to look at y'all as a fucking caretaker. But child, I could go on about this shit all motherfucking day long, but I'm not. I got shit to do today.
This lady's video came out in like January or something, and she even said back here, like, yeah, men like to be like seen as Captain Save 'em. And that's why I said, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that a lot of people knew that there are men that like to feel like they're needed, and it's like if they don't feel like they are the one that's able to financially be able to do everything and have the control, then they don't even want to be with a woman like that. They don't want to be with a woman that's like strong, independent. And I'm not going to say anything is wrong. Like you can't be feminine and have your own. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't want you to have your own. A lot of, men don't want that. Now, this lady right here, she got like some sort of relationship issue with money, and we're going to see what's going on.
So I'm doing the math of what I have to pay for right now in my life. I do not want to live in this apartment anymore. I live with someone that I don't like and that I have attempted to set boundaries with, but I am deeply uncomfortable sharing a space with this person who is home all the time now. She's unemployed and she has money to pay for rent. So we are basically on top of each other all the time. Doing the math of what I would owe to get out of here, it is currently like almost close to $10,000. I owe a significant amount of money to my landlord, and then to help facilitate the move to just get me out of here and go somewhere else, that's also going to be thousands of dollars. I sincerely feel so trapped, and I am so angry all the time, and I don't have a proper way of getting my anger out. I can't even get like 20 minutes alone to cook in the kitchen without her being here. And she's done things to me that I cannot forgive her for.
Oh no.
And it makes me feel very unsafe. And I just want to scream. I can't. Because she's literally here right now. Her fucking boyfriend.
I'm sorry, but when she said she can't scream, she can't scream because her boyfriend's there. Girl, please go out and let it out. Don't worry about, you can't scream because her boyfriend is there. Girl, I don't know what's going on. And it's not funny that she's so sad. I'm just like, girl, you can't scream. Forget that girl and her boyfriend. Girl, let it out. Let it out. Girl, please let out that scream, because there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to scream in a place that you pay for. And like the boyfriend, what he gonna do? What is gonna happen if you just like let out I got so many questions just listening to this. Like, I feel bad for her, but when she said she couldn't scream, like not being able to scream in a place that you pay for is wild to me. Like, I'm sorry. And I'm pretty sure she's paying, like, I don't know. But okay, all right, I get back to it. She done messed me up.
And I just to think about having to get like $10,000 just for me to leave.
That's wild.
Is honestly so fucking insane. Because I don't have consistent work in order for me to facilitate getting out of here, and I just hate that I'm being forced to just tolerate a situation when the obvious solution is for me to go.
Right.
I have to sit here and talk very quietly so that I'm not overheard, and cry quietly to myself because I can't stand living here anymore.
Man, this is like really bad. Man, forget all of that. Her and her boyfriend. Girl, like it's just really sad. She literally is serious. She cannot scream. This is the type of stuff that happens when you don't have the resources to be able to make a move whenever, like, she is fed up. Like, she is on the camera whispering to us, and like she's crying, and it's not funny what she's going through. I'm just like, girl, the boyfriend, and like, girl, you can't scream. Like, I'm still trying to get through it. But yeah, it's really sad when you can't do that because of money. I really feel for her.
I've literally gone through so much in this apartment, with my room being destroyed from a fire to living with just like consistently just strangers that I do not get along with, that have done things to me that it just
What did they do?
I don't know. I don't fucking know what to do. I've just been so angry today because all I want is just like a couple of hours to myself. And I have to hide in my room. I've tried applying for the one-shot deal here in the city, social services, and I was on the phone for multiple days
She
trying to
crying?
get somebody on the phone because they're supposed to interview you before you can get approved for stuff. And I was in queue for like hours, and then eventually they just hung up on me, or they give you the option to like, can we call you back? And then they never call you back. And then if you don't get somebody on the phone within an allotted time, they just reject your application and you have to do it again. And it's so fucking frustrating because it's just like, some days I will have the hours to like wait on the phone, but other times like I have to be like out on the street doing like work stuff or trying to like look for job opportunities. And it's just like I hate that the system is made to just like to gatekeep people so hard. I haven't wanted to live in this apartment for like over a year now, and I think I just get so mad because I'm really trying to change my circumstances and just simply make more money, and it just feels like it's gonna take so much longer to get to that place. I want to get out now. I want to leave right now, but I can't.
I mean, I get that.
I feel so trapped. And I hate that I have to just come up with so much fucking money when I don't have it.
I just got a little stressed out. For one, I didn't see any tears coming out, but I think she's like crying, but some people cry with no tears. I think no matter what, the girl ain't got no money to make no moves. So it's just like, man, like what's going on? Y'all, we need to send our well wishes to Miss Alexis because whatever she's going through, she's really going through it. And I hope she's able to get out of her apartment with like the boyfriend, like you're not being able to be loud or to like cry out loud, and you gotta whisper cry. Oh no. I'm not whisper crying. Like if I need to let it out, like let it out. But girl, I just like let whatever is going on out because you can't bottle this up. Like it's gonna eat you up inside. Like I just hope she's able to get some financial security and be able to make some moves because this is what happens when you don't have no money, you just stuck and then you just crying like doing the whisper cry. Ooh, Lord have mercy. I rebuke it. Mm-mm. Man, not on TikTok with the cry.
I feel so trapped.
Oh.
I hate that I have to just come up with so much fucking money when I don't have it.
That is a lot. 10 grand. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I got you, Alexis. Look, anybody that feels trapped in, no matter if it's a relationship or if it's a marriage, like being trapped because you ain't got the money is wild. Like, do you see what happens to people when they trapped? It's not a good feeling to feel like you can't even laugh out loud or you can't scream or you can't be loud. I really feel bad for her because she just looks like she's in a prison. Like she sounds like she's in a prison. And I'm just like, man. This is why I think it's important to always have your own, y'all. Y'all don't understand when you have your own resources, you ain't got to put up with nothing. Like if you living with a family member you don't like, when you got money, you don't have to sit there and deal with anything. If you're dealing with a friend you don't like, you don't got to sit there and deal with anything. You can just up and leave and you can do your own thing because you got your own resources. But it's so crazy how many people are stuck in places that they cannot stand, that they don't want to be in because they don't have resources. And with people that they don't want to be stuck with. You're trapped with whatever this person, like people have bad roommates, bad relationships, bad husbands, bad wives, like whatever the case may be. And they're stuck because they're like, man, I can't get through life without this person. I just gotta like coast through and just like do my best. And there are a lot of people, they're just like, I gotta coast through life trying to do my best and get along with this person because I need them. Poor
I want to
Alexis.
start this video by saying that I'm not asking for money and I'm not asking for sympathy. What I'm asking for is, if you are a young 14, 16, 21-year-old girl, listen up. I drove to the grocery store. I need to grab some milk and bread and a couple of things, flipped open the bank app on my phone, and I've been sitting in my car crying ever since because I never have enough money. And why do I never have enough money? Because when I was a 19-year-old girl, I fell in love. My Mormon faith told me that I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. I got married. I started having babies. I dropped out of college. I never had a career. My only jobs that I ever had in life were a waitress at the Olive Garden and managing a pretzel maker in a mall. Oh, my first couple years of marriage, I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I bought a windshield business. I was 20.
Okay.
And my Mormon stake president reminded me that women weren't supposed to work, so I quit my own business, handed it over to my husband, took my name off of it. I would work our family business throughout the next 24 years of my marriage, but I never got paid. I didn't have a salary. My name wasn't on it. I literally worked for room and board. That's it.
Hell no.
I would eventually also launch a custom home building company with my uncle as the architect and my friends as the builder.
Wow.
My designs, my realtor. But again, because my husband was the man, his name was on all of the projects, his name was on the business. I remember one of the last custom homes that I built, we sold it and made about a $260,000 profit. Wow. That money all went into his bank account. I didn't even have a bank account. I should have said that in the beginning. I never had a bank account. He would give me little envelopes of cash to go grocery shopping with. Anyway, that house sells, the money goes in the bank. I just asked if I could buy myself a piano with the money. I had worked on building that house for 2 years. All of the money went into his bank account. Nothing was under my name. I got a piano and I got a free house to live in. And I got groceries. So I found myself divorced at age 44 just 5 years ago, and within just a few months I was living in my car while he made about $250,000. He would eventually quit that job so that he wouldn't have to pay alimony and child support. He has only paid alimony one time ever in the 5 years since we've been divorced. Once ever. Right after my divorce, I remember being really confident about my ability to get a job, so I put together a resume. I remember one of the first interviews that I had, this management position for a windshield company, similar to the one that we had run. And the man actually laughing as he was interviewing me, like he was really sympathetic. He wasn't being a douchebag, but he was laughing. And he's like, so let me get this straight. You helped manage your family windshield business with your husband, but you were mostly a stay-at-home mom, and all you did was like the marketing and the hiring, firing, and some of the strategy for the business. But it became really apparent that I needed so many more skills to have any type of management job. I couldn't even work the basic computers. He told me in the interview, please don't apply for any more jobs like this. You are not qualified at all. You're not capable of doing this unless you go back to school and get your degree or get some different experience. Right. And so I ended up, my first job after my divorce was $11 an hour, 4 hours a day, working as an assistant to a school teacher in an elementary school.
Wow.
I made $44 a day. For 24 years, I lived in $1 million homes. I vacationed all over the world. I spent my summers in Hawaii. I could buy myself $500 jeans, diamond tennis bracelets. We had boats and RVs and whatever I wanted.
Right.
And it never bothered me once that my financial security was dependent on that man being in love with me. I never realized that him liking me or not liking me or finding me sexy or attractive or interesting determined whether or not my children could eat, whether or not I could buy myself a fucking jug of milk and a loaf of bread. Wow. So I had my 5th surgery in 2 years, 2 weeks ago, and I'm supposed to be in bed resting, and I can't because I worked 7 days a week since my divorce 5 years ago, which is why I'm covered in paint and looking like crap. We actually have a 4-day weekend here in Tucson, and since my partner isn't working, he's working on furniture flip partner projects with me. I have no retirement. I have no savings. No education, no resume. I was almost a straight A student throughout all of my education. I went to college at age 17. I had dreams for my future. I'm working so hard to get myself out of just perpetual side hustle hell. There's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder why. why I didn't have a fucking backup plan, why my kids eating and having stability was dependent on a romantic relationship, why nobody told me to put money in the bank, why nobody told me don't have babies until you have an education and some experience, don't have so many kids. I wish somebody had told me to put my name on our vehicle loans and to put my name on our houses. I wish somebody had told me that it's okay to put those babies in daycare for a couple days a week and go to college and have a job. And I think I need to do an entire like Trad Wife sequel, because you can be happy and rich and loving your life like Ballerina Farm until the guy walks out. I want you guys to imagine for a minute, even rich Hannah, if Deanna walked out, if all of his financial backing and he had to sell the farm, and then what does she have? Find another rich boy to marry? I just don't want one more woman to DM me, comment, send me their stories, cry to me about how hard it is for them to support their families. And I am so tired of living my own story. We have to make this stop. Raise your daughters to be financially independent. Focus on their futures and educations just as much as you focus on your sons. I wish that someone had done that for me.
Look, y'all hearing it straight from somebody that had nothing when they came into a marriage, and then they ended up like having this life and all these things because somebody else was able to provide these things for them. When the man is removed, as you can see, you see it here, there is going to be some problems if you're fully dependent on somebody. This is just another reason to make sure you have your own education and something to fall back on. Like even if these men come scout you out, like not saying she got scouted out, don't just let anybody dangle, oh, I got money in front of you, and then you don't try to do anything for yourself, because these sort of situations happen to people, and then you don't find out till you find out. And then you're like, dang. And I hope she's able to get herself in a better financial situation and take care of her children.
Once a woman gives up financial independence to a mate, it's over. You don't necessarily have to use your craft, use your career, but you have to be prepared.
Yes.
Because if you're not prepared, then you're stuck.
Yeah.
And more women have to accept lifestyles that are unpleasant because they are financially stuck. So if you're smart, you teach your daughters, teach your granddaughters.
Yeah.
Everybody has to have something that they're good at where they can earn a living.
Judge Judy had a good point, because I don't know how many of us grew up in situations where we knew the women in our families or the women that we knew of were in situations that they didn't want to be in, but they had no option because the man was controlling all the money, so they had to stay. You got the option to leave or to stay if you're doing well. And I think that's why, like the beginning clip with the Corey guy, like the Corey comedian, when he was saying what he was saying is, yeah, you're not going to just deal with anything because you got options, because you have resources. And if you have resources, you can make stuff happen. You don't got to just, like, if somebody does you wrong at a hotel, you don't got to sit there and like, oh, I'm just going to deal with it. You go get you another room. Go get another apartment. Go get another car. Like, whatever the case is, whatever the thing is, you can do it yourself. And you don't need them. A lot of people are depending on the fact that you are going to need them in order to do whatever it is they're trying to do. And it's not right, but it does happen.
So many women love to bring up the fact that they were so stuck in their last relationship because they had no money financially, but no one ever talks about the men that are stuck in relationships because they can't afford to leave. Because it's too freaking expensive to leave this.
Now, I don't know what she's finna say, but I already know she probably gonna ruffle some feathers of people. Now, I'm not saying that women don't go through things. I do like to hear both sides, but I feel like just because you support women, you don't have to hate men or just like disregard what possibly may be going on. So let's see what's going on.
Ever talks about the men that are stuck in relationships because they can't afford to leave. Because it's too freaking expensive to leave this person that is treating them like shit. Women love to talk about, oh, I was so stuck in a relationship. But what about the men that are stuck in relationships because they don't want to lose half their assets to an ungrateful, toxic ass woman? Or the fact that they don't want to go 50-50 with their kids and actually come home to an empty house. Or have $70,000 in lawyers' fees where you're paying 2 lawyers and these lawyers' only goal is to get as much money as possible. Y'all never want to talk about the men in these situations, but then you come online and talk about how men don't even like their wives. but you have never ever considered the fact that these men are stuck. They're stuck in loveless, toxic, unhappy relationships because they literally cannot afford to leave. But not only that, when men get the courage to finally speak out about their situations or decide to go to therapy to get help, y'all will invalidate them and tell them that they're sociopaths and they're narcissistic. And what did you do in the relationship to make her feel like that? As if men are not allowed to have feelings in the first place. So not only is it financially draining, these men also have nowhere to turn. Oh, and just a side note, if he's lucky enough, he'll end up having to fight up against the fact that the other parent on the other side is going to spend the rest of her time alienating the children and painting him in a negative way and bribing the children with gifts in order to make herself look better, and he'll have to spend the rest of his life proving to his own children that he's worth a damn because the mother of his children is so bitter. So don't tell me that men can't be stuck too.
I won't lie and say that men can't be stuck financially too in relationships or situations that they don't want to be in. It goes like anybody can be stuck. But y'all let me know, do y'all agree with what she just said? And I did a poll today on my channel and I asked you all, can money buy control in a relationship? 26% said yes, money gives control. Wow, that is crazy. 17% said no, this traps people financially. 45% said depends on the other person's values. 12% said money shouldn't be a factor at all. I wasn't expecting that first option to have as many votes as it did. So it just kind of lets you know what a lot of people think about money in relationships. And a lot of people do think that having money does control the whole relationship, whether you're in poverty or you're not in poverty or you're in a marriage. It just goes to show you that you should have your own or try to have your own financial security, because people are using it as control. Because if it wasn't true, 26% of people wouldn't have said that they agree that yes, money gives control. And this was out of 2.9 thousand votes. So almost 3,000 votes. That just lets you know what a lot of people think. Like, yeah, money does control a lot of things in relationships. And if you don't want to be controlled, what you should be asking yourself is, how can I not be in control? And if you know that people are out here preying on people who do not have resources, one of the things that you can try to do is make sure you have your own like skills, have education, go to school for something that actually is going to pay you some money and that is in high demand. Don't just be going to getting any sort of degree and then being in a whole bunch of debt, because that's going to make it worse. Because the more debt you're in, the more dependent you're going to probably end up being on this other person, and that's what you don't want. You want to be able to depend on yourself and to be able to support yourself and to be able to have skills that are able to pay you in society without the person that you're dealing with, whether that's a roommate, a husband, a wife, or whatever the case may be. You want to be able to do everything yourself if you need to. Now, I'm not saying if that's y'all agreement, like, hey, like you don't pay bills. Like I don't get into all that because that's everybody's business. But I do firmly believe that at the bare minimum, you should be able to stand on your own 2 feet as a grown adult. But if you're putting yourself in a situation where you're 1,000% dependent on somebody, you might have to consider or ask yourself or just consider the possible dangers that can come with that. And if you're fine with that, do your own thing. But I think a lot of people don't even consider it because a lot of people are worried about living the soft life, and they're just so into the idea of living certain lifestyles and just like, hey, come give me some money, and then like, oh, I just show up and be pretty, and then the next thing you know, like years have gone down the line and now you don't have anything to show for it because you've been so like wrapped up in these ideas of somebody spoiling you or somebody giving you whatever life you want. And if they aren't there, things like go haywire, unfortunately. And I don't want that for anybody. So this is why I think that we have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.